I meet lots of interesting people who I want to help, and the best way for me to give back is to quickly share who they're helping professionally and who they wish they could privately or philanthropically help more. And I help you by keeping the interviews short and sweet. People in my circle can pick and choose who to directly and indirectly help with their business or charitable contributions. Who are you helping? Don't forget to subscribe or follow me on YouTube and TikTok so that they start paying me to do more interviews like these. Let's get started. What's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg, and this is for Who Are You Helping? And today I'm joined with Patrick Laine. How you doing today, Patrick?
Great, man. I'm in Miami. It's 80 degrees, and hey, couldn't be better.
Sweet, sweet. And if you've never seen a Who Are You Helping before, this is how it works. I normally interview commercial real estate investors. I'm always looking for more commercial real estate investors to interview as part of my Chance Encounters series. But sometimes somebody comes into my life and I'm like, well, I'm not sure if you fit into my business, but I'm sure that you probably fit in the businesses of somebody in the camera there. So why not give you a chance to say who you help professionally so we can get that all ironed out. Now, Patrick, I noticed that you often say on LinkedIn, and I like saying so I was thinking I really have to get you on here today. So Patrick, can you please introduce yourself? Because that's not the best introduction that's ever.
Yeah. So when it comes to language, it's not planned. I don't plan it. Like it's kind of funny. I go on these podcasts and people send me these questions ahead of time, and I don't really pay much attention to them because if I'm not speaking from my soul and from my heart, then I'd rather not be speaking. So ultimately, just a little bit of background about me. I'm very, very passionate about all things wellness. I have a nonprofit called Mentors Who Move, where we focus on cultivating an environment where kids are emotionally invested in some form of wellness, whether that be emotional wellness, environmental wellness, occupational wellness, social wellness, mind-body wellness, physical wellness, whatever it is. There's some form of wellness that kids can get attached to and emotionally invested in. And ultimately, that's also the idea behind the health experience and health coaching experience we put people through, is that we essentially recognize that no matter who you are, no matter where you are, somebody looks up to you, right? Whether it's if you're 5 years old or 55 years old. And if you're 5, there's a 2-year-old that looks up to you somewhere. So ultimately, what we want to do is essentially bring people to their optimal health, optimal energy, optimize their energy, their sleep, all of their habits, so they show up as the best possible person they can be. Because at the end of the day, that rubs off on other people. That rubs off on their kids. And guess what? Your kids are going to be lovers and friends and associates and coworkers of my kids. So quite frankly, I don't do any of this nonprofit stuff. I don't do any of the coaching stuff because I just, love the universe. I do love the universe, but ultimately I do it because of my kids. That's it. It's a very selfish reason. I feel a responsibility and a passion and a desire to leave the world in a better place than I left it for my kids. That's why I'm here.
I love it. That's a beautiful thing, especially because I end up in a lot of social media audience growth groups. And one thing that seems odd to a lot of people, it's like, okay, so why is everybody putting that much time into each other? And this is my thinking about reaching out to another influencer such as yourself. It's that when we invest in each other, it means that the person, like some people are going to be saying, holy smokes, you knew Patrick Laine back in the day, like I need you to be bigger so that I can be bigger too. We're all helping ourselves. And if you put that in the context of your local society and the world at large and making the world better so that it treats your kids better, I love that angle. That's a really cool idea. So the first question, though, that we always have in these Who Are You Helping interviews is, who do you help professionally? So I think that there are two different parts to that. One, which is like what exactly do you do professionally that people reward you financially for? But the other side is like, who's a good customer avatar in terms of like who's most apt for it. So why don't you, I know you're kind of repeating yourself, but who do you help professionally? Like, how would you sum that up quickly?
Yeah, so on a professional scale, it's interesting because just recently I was contacted by an accounting firm who is kind of suffering and going through the great resignation, right? And they have, they lost like 9 employees over the last year or something. And they recognize that they admitted, they said, look, our employees are very unhealthy. Like I just straight out, no, we're not hiding that fact. And they recognize that healthier employees are happier employees. Happier employees are more productive employees. More productive employees make more money for the company. So ultimately, I think there are a lot of businesses who are working with checking a box on the wellness category. Let's make our company attractive by offering free gym access or offering this or that. All that's just checking a box. It's just putting a Band-Aid on an elephant's butt, essentially, right? So who I help are essentially the parents and the individuals who recognize that they're setting a poor example, or maybe it's not even a poor example, but setting an example that is less than the example they want to set for their kids and their spouses and the people around them.
And I think that that orbits all around the issue of obesity. That's got to be the biggest health challenge right now, right? And
Yeah,
I used to be a 200 pounder at 5'8". So like I was definitely like well above what I ought to have been, and so that's why I enjoy when some people who are a little bit more health conscious, they give some tough love. One of my friends who he had a much bigger weight loss than I did, he had a saying, which is there's only one thing that's worse than losing weight, which is being fat. And that's some real tough love way of saying it, especially, like you're not allowed to fat shame or anything like that. But, I can say personally, it feels so much better not to be, heavy and tired all the time. Is that something you're willing to comment on, or do you think that's
every single thing that we do is based around how you fucking feel. That's it. That's all that matters. So if you're obese and you feel amazing, I may have my doubts, but what I think doesn't matter. If you feel amazing, if you're moving with fluid, you have a lot of energy, you can play with your kids, whatever, then great. Then go be whatever you want to be, right? The problem I have with this body positivity movement is that it's like you said, there's something to be gained from tough love. There's something to be gained from being told the truth and hearing the truth. And, it's just like, for example, when there are overweight women out there, I don't know if you've heard these stories, but there's stories about women who look pregnant but aren't pregnant. And their light bulb moment, you mentioned you were 200 pounds, 5'8". Their light bulb moment was when somebody said, oh, when's the baby due? And they said, I'm not pregnant. Well, yeah, it's a very awkward situation. But at the end of the day, that was the moment that inspired them to, I got to do something about this, right? So we're not doing anything by encouraging body positivity. We're not doing anything by gently, kind of misery loves company, right? I mean, we work with a lot of teachers, and teachers, they talk and it's like, oh no, girl, you look good. You're okay. You don't need to lose weight. You're good. Come share this cupcake with me and share in my misery. Again, if you feel amazing when you're eating the cupcake, if you feel amazing after it, then great, keep on doing it. But it's all about how you feel. And what you just recognized is, you know what? I feel better weighing less. I have more energy. I show up better. I'm glowing. I'm excited about my work. My work actually improves. I got a raise at work because I lost weight. Well, guess what? You didn't get a raise because people are discriminating against obese people. You got a raise because you fucking showed up better.
Yep. I completely, I love that. I love that. And like, so let's continue on that. Normally I got a feeling we're going to be going over the 8 minutes, but the other one that I like from weight loss is from chemistry, which is the law of conservation of matter. Okay. Like, so things can't disappear. The way I like to say it is that it can't wind up on your ass unless it went in your mouth first. Right? It's, I don't know. Well, what can you do? Let's move on though. So who do you wish you could help more? Maybe, okay, so some of my guests, they don't even have enough time with their family, and that's why they work hard. And what I'm really going for is if a professional helps the professional guest that I'm talking to, then who are we indirectly assisting is basically who we're finding out about when we ask the question, who do you wish you could help more? So maybe it's professional, maybe it's private, maybe it's philanthropic or whatever. I think you've already described it a fair bit, but let's put it out there explicitly. So who do you wish you could help more, Patrick?
Ultimately, everybody ultimately it comes down to the kids, right? And look, what I realized a long time ago, I can go into any school I want, and we have a nonprofit that has we're associated with over 2,000 schools in over 80 countries, right? And we can go talk to any of those kids, and we can tell them that broccoli is healthier than a donut, and we can tell them we can teach them how to meditate. We can do all these things, but ultimately it does not matter if they're going home and mom and dad are filling the table up with whatever they want, and mom and dad aren't providing an environment where the kids can meditate. I'm just using that as an example. I'm not saying it's something that people need to do, but so ultimately it's the people who need the help the most. I don't know if that's a cop out to your question, but the people who, a lot of times in this industry, in the health industry, you get these scientists and you get these doctors who come on and they tell you, oh, sugar is bad, donuts are bad, soda is bad, and all these things. That doesn't help people to be inspired to change. All that does is piss them off. And especially it's like a preaching to the choir kind of thing. I love reading the research. I love to educate myself and learn about the impact of different foods and different nutrients on our bodies. Trust me, it's a hobby of mine. I love doing that. But when it comes to communicating to people who need the change most, that's not the most effective way.
Beautiful, beautiful. So you personally what that reminded me of is that I learned how to cook broccoli, for example, in a way where I don't care who you are. If you give it a bite and you turn your nose up at it, I'd be really, really surprised. I wouldn't take it personal, but I'd be really, really surprised. But other than helping people cook broccoli, how can people help you, Patrick? Like imagine, like genie comes out of the lamp or something, but that genie happens to be whoever's in the glass of the lens of the camera here. So how can they help you, Patrick?
They can help me. This is an easy one. They can help me by investing in themselves and showing up as the best version of themselves. I don't mean necessarily money. So maybe investing is a bad word, but really pouring into themselves. Let me explain something to you. In this world, we all recognize that each plant, you mentioned broccoli, cauliflower, lima beans, any plant, any vegetable you can think of, right? Any fruit you can think of. Each of those fruits and vegetables and nuts and seeds and all these things that come from the earth have a unique nutrient profile, right? Where some of them are higher in fiber, some of them are more vitamins, minerals. They have a unique profile, right? So if we can all agree that they have a unique profile and if they have a unique DNA, well, it would stand to reason that, well, think about the 8 billion people that are on this planet. And there's those 8 billion people all have a unique DNA. We cannot argue that. And so if that's the case, then what if each individual had a special gift that they could give to the universe? So the only way they can give that gift to the rest of society, of the population, is to dig within themselves and identify within themselves what they can do for the world and what that gift is. Find it and bring that gift out. So basically by making themselves the best version they can be, that's what they can do for me. Because if every person did that, the whole world would live in harmony. Just like a fucking vegetable garden with fruits and vegetables and everything else. It would be harmonious.
Well, that's quite the thing to think about. That's really, really great. And so that's the question was, how can people help you? You're saying that they can help you by helping yourself. That's the biggest. Right. Cool. So that's a beautiful thing. So how can people reach out to help you, either, like as a coach or as a whatever, however you're professionally selling your services these days? How can somebody reach out for any of that kind of stuff? Is it LinkedIn the best, or?
They can go to gettingfitface.com. They can book a call from there. Let'sgetfitfaced.com also works. They can go find me on LinkedIn. It's linkedin.com, and then it's Patrick-Laine-Fitfaced. So yeah, I'm here. I'm on TikTok as well at Getting Fit Faced. So I'm not as active on TikTok as I am on LinkedIn. But actually, I just got on Clubhouse. We're going to be doing some Clubhouse meetings next week with TJ Thomas Johnson, and I are going to be partnering up to do some Clubhouse rooms next week. So we got a lot of exciting things coming. But follow Getting Fit Faced on TikTok or on LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn, and we can connect.
Sweet, sweet. That's a beautiful thing. And one other question I have for you before we get going. It's more for the audience to be aware of. It's because Patrick has now listed off who he helps professionally, who he wishes he could help more, how people can help him, and how to reach out. But Patrick, did you know that if somebody goes onto YouTube and subscribes to my channel, then that helps me?
Hey, let's do it then. I'm for it.
Good stuff. And to do it, there's under my left hand, there's this red button. It's the ugliest button you're ever going to see. It's terrible, in fact. The only way to kill that awful red button is by clicking on it. And it has a magical power. The magical power is that YouTube begins to pay for these videos instead of me. That sounds like magic. I start getting those Google checks. But Patrick, I don't know how much you followed my stuff, and subscribing's totally free. Can you give another good reason to the audience why they should subscribe?
Why should they subscribe? Look, if you are clearly somebody who you've identified your gift, you've identified what you're good at, and you're giving it to the world. And quite frankly, I want to follow all of those individuals who are giving and using and taking advantage of that gift. It's like the nutrient in the fucking strawberries, right? So I don't want to deprive the world of that specific nutrient profile in the strawberries. So I want Dan to be out there encouraged and in his element to be able to give his gift to the world. So there's no other reason for me. You see somebody who's real, and you see somebody who hits home and who doesn't beat around the bush, that's who you want to connect. Surround your world with people like that, and then that actually can inspire you to identify within yourself how you can bring your gift out.
Sweet. And I'm so glad you said that, because I've got a way to go out into the weeds a little bit here. If for those of you in the audience who watch energy levels, you probably notice, and I know that Patrick, you'll be totally cool talking about energies and things like that. But you probably noticed that once I got to the how do people reach out to you, Patrick, they kind of like the balloon kind of deflated a little bit. And part of that was because I had a comment that I gapped out on. And what it had to do with automated kiosks. Okay, so you were talking about a better society where everybody is able to tap into what they are and then basically be, like a broadcaster of what that is, that they love and what they're contributing to everybody around. Now, one thing ethically I had to run into as a developer is I got to the point where I was programming things and automating things that literally cost people their jobs. Okay, so like they previously had to manually go through the orders and then send out, to fulfillment centers and do all that sort of thing, right? But I would make a custom program where it would just parse through the orders and then send it out automatically. So that means whoever was the contractor previously, they have nothing to do anymore. I like to hope that the employer found something different for them to do, but there's no guarantee there, right? But the reason I bring it up is because of automated kiosks, okay? You know the movement where they say it's like, okay, no, you should always go to a cashier because otherwise somebody's going to lose their job, and same with at a fast food restaurant. Well, I'm a huge fan of the kiosks because nobody wants to do those jobs, and everybody seems to be entitled to treat those people like crap anyway. So isn't society better if you're doing literally anything but that. I've done those jobs. You know how like at McDonald's or whatever, not I'm saying restaurants in general, it's not specific to McDonald's. Sometimes if the till doesn't add up, a manager will be like, all right, nobody leaves until that money gets back in there. So assuming the guilt of everybody there, assuming that everybody, like nobody made any mistakes or anything like that, and who's really getting burned and who has any recourse, something like that. That's my big thing is if we all make ourselves better, then we don't need people who are mentally killing themselves because they're flipping burgers all the time and feeling resentful for any of the numbers of reasons. So take it away. What are you thinking?
Man, come on. There's not much I can do to follow that up. You're spot on. I will tell you though that I used to work at Wendy's when I was in high school. I worked at Wendy's. I did the burger flipping. I made the chili. I did the. Here's a funny story from when I was working at Wendy's. You'll like this story. So I've never told this story. So when you go to a fast food restaurant, you have the little worker at a fast food restaurant has a little. You have the headset on and you talk to the people in the drive-thru, right? And so you can push. There's two different buttons. It's like an A and a B button. So you push one button to talk to your fellow employees. Only your fellow employees can hear you. The other button goes out to the microphone on the thing, right? So this guy pulls up, and I could see him on the video. He pulls up, and he doesn't say anything. I say, hey, welcome to Wendy's. Can I take your order?
Yeah.
Nothing. Complete silence, right? And I'm like, who is this dick? What is it? He's talking to his family. He's talking to his friends, whatever he's doing. I repeated. I pushed the button again. I said, welcome to Wendy's. Can I take your order? Nothing. Silence. I hear some laughing and joking around in the background. I'm like, these fuckers are fucking with me, right?
Yeah.
I'm like 17 years old. I did it one more time. I was like, this is the last chance. Welcome to Wendy's. How can I help you? Let's go. Nothing, right? So then what I did was I hit the other button, right? The other button, talking to my manager, right?
Yeah.
And all the people who wear the headsets internally, they can't tell which button I'm pushing. They can hear everything. Right? Only the
okay.
Right? So I pushed the other button and I said, Gary was the name of the manager. Gary, these motherfuckers are fucking with me. They're not answering the goddamn thing. I asked them how they're doing. You heard me. I asked them, these fuckers, blah, blah, fuck this, fuck that. I'm blasted. And I take my hand off the thing and the guy goes, excuse me? And I'm like, oh shit. I look down and somebody had switched my fucking A and B thing on my thing, and there's a little nub on one, so you should be able to tell without looking for it, but it was kind of worn out, so I couldn't tell. And man, I almost got fired that day. I was able to keep my job. That shows you, but maybe I don't know if that shows you how desperate they were for employees, or if that shows you how I was actually a good worker. There was a time in my life where they asked me, "You want to be a manager?" And I was like, "I don't know about this."
I'm sure it was immediately after that exact thing. They probably walked over and say, "After now that we've seen such exemplary service, could you pretty please?" Right? Oh man, all that I can think about this, like talking to you today, is about how, as kids we were always given that advice that don't talk to strangers. Well, this is proof that they're wrong. What do you think about that, right? What better thing to sign off than that? But Patrick, thank you so much for joining me today. This has been great.
Thanks for having me, man. Yeah, it's been fun.
Sweet.